Howdy gang, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking at the second solo in Deliverance by Opeth. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the first section. I want to start with a bend on 10 of the second string. Then after I've held it for long enough, I'm going to do 2 quick pulses just at the top of that bend. Then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing 7, 8, and then pulling off to the 7 on the first string, then jumping to 10 of the second, and then back down to 7 of the first. From there I work into this. So what I'm doing here is a pull off from 10 to 7 on the first, 7 of the second, 10 to 7 on the first is a pull off, and then 10 of the second string. And I jump back down to 7 of the first string. Sort of go. The end of that. Sort of a slight bend on 5 of the second string, and then just bring it back down to a vibrato before we work into that next phrase. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far a little slower. Okay, then we work into this big run. So what I'm doing at the start of that is a hammer on from 4 to 5 back to 4 on the second string, and I jump to 7 of the third string, and then back down to 4 of the second string. Then it goes. So what I'm doing here is playing 7 to 4 as a pull off on the third, hammering back to 7, and then pulling off back to 4, sort of go. Hopefully that makes sense. One more time, a little slower. Then we go into this. Let's slow that down. So what I'm doing here is a hammer on into a pull off, not too fast. From 3 to 4, back to 3 on the third string. Then I jump up to 5 of the fourth string, and back down to 3 of the third. Sort of go. Then I go. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 4, 5 on the fourth string, and then 3, 4 on the third. So let's go from the start of that little hammer on at the start. Then it goes. Let's do that a little slower. So I'm playing 5 of the fourth, 3 of the third, and then 4, 5 on the fourth again. And the end of that phrase goes. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 2, 4 on the fourth string, and then 5 at the fifth. And then I'm doing a slide from 2 to 3 on the fourth. And when I bring it back, I just want to hit that second fret again. So we'll go from here one more time, and then we'll join the whole thing together. Let's take it from the start of the section nice and slow. Okay, let's take a look at the second section. I want to do a slide from 3 to 5 on the second string. And then I do. So what I'm doing here is 2 slight bends on the second fret of the third string. And then the second one goes up and back, and then I pull off to the open note. Now after I've done that open note, I'm going to hammer back down to 2. So nice and slow. So going. Okay, at the end of that I go. So I slide from 2 to 4 twice, and on the second time I just give it some delicious vibrato. So we've got... Hopefully that's making sense, and then we work into this phrase. So what I've got here is a big bend on 17 of the first string, and then I bring it back down and play it again with a bit of vibrato. And I go... So what I'm doing here is playing 15, 14, 15 on the first string, and then I work into this phrase. It's kind of slashy, I guess. So what I'm doing here is a hammer-on tool pull-off, 14, 15, 14 on the first, and then climbing up this little arpeggio, playing 15 of the second, 14 of the third, and I slide that back to 12, and then I want to just play 11. So I go, and that's all of this section. So let's try it from the start a little bit slower. Let's have a look at this last final run. I'm going to do a big bend on 15 of the second string, and then bring it back down and hit it again and do some vibrato. And I work into this phrase. I'm doing a hammer-on into a pull-off, 12, 15 back to 12 on the second string, and then I play 14 of the third, and then back down to 12 of the second. And then I do a pull-off from 14 to 12 on the third string. So I go. So all together, thus far a little slower. We're working into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is a bend up and back into a pull-off from 14 of the third, pulling off to 12 of the third. When I get back to that 12, I want to hammer to 14 and then pull off back to 12. So I'll do that all again a little bit slower. Bend, pull off, hammer, pull off. And I slide that back to 11. Then from the 11, I hammer to 12 and pull off to the 11. So I go. And I slide from that 11 to 7. And then I hammer from 7 to 9, back to 7 again. So I'll do this whole section from the bend a little slower. Let's take it from the start of the section a little slower. There's only a tiny bit left now. So what I've got here, so I'm sliding with my ring, barely acknowledging that ninth fret. It's just a passing note. I slide from 9 to 7, barely acknowledging 9, and then pull off to the 5. And the last bit, I want to pluck 4 and slide to 2. That's some vibrato when I get there. Alright, that's all of section 3. Let's try it again a little bit slower. And that's the second Deliverance solo. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Catch you real soon.